Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today you are joining me as I am now 2 days after the PCA, and that makes me also just under 4 weeks out now from the UK DFBA finals, or open show as it's now called this year. So we're 2 days post show. Yesterday was a rest day, today is legs. I am so goddamn happy to be back in here today. It's been 3 days since I've trained and I feel like just empty and sad. I really don't like resting after show days. I just feel weird because training is like such a huge part of who I am. So like I just feel very happy to be back in here today, but it was needed to take the rest day just based on how the sessions now fall on for these next like 4 weeks. And particularly with having rest days around show weekends that I've got upcoming for clients. So I've got the BNBF finals and the WNBF Supernaturals in a couple of weeks. So I kind of needed the rest days to align where they are, because obviously I can't be affording to like cram in sessions or really move sessions too much in these final stages of prep. But I'm feeling very good today. Obviously we caught up at the end of the show day vlog. So if you've not watched that, go back and probably give that a watch if you want to be updated on where we're at. But I'm feeling very good. I actually got my feedback from PCA, which I kind of already knew what it was going to be. But it was actually really positive in the sense that they kind of said my overall shape, my silhouette, my muscularity, my completeness was really good. My presentation was amazing. My condition was great. Like everything was at the best that it could be. All that I really need moving forwards, like for a PCA lineup, really, it's just like more overall muscle, just to keep accentuating my shape that I have, and a bit more back. So we all know I need more back. It's a never-ending story for me. But that's really good feedback, and it kind of tells me that like I was at the best that I could be for a lineup like that, which is great. Like that's the feedback that we want. So the main focus really moving ahead is going to be the UK DFBA Open, where I know I can be a bit more competitive in that lineup with some more condition. Like it's always really hard, and I think you have to understand that different federations want different things. Like for PCA, I'd probably just need like more delt, more shape, things like that, which I'm not going to be able to get in 4 or 5 weeks. That's just not going to happen. Of course, like we always want more muscle anyway. We're always going to be more competitive with more shape, more size. But I can bring a more competitive package to the UK DFBA in that sort of lineup based on that criteria in October, which I'm looking forward to. Just small margins that we'll just keep chipping away at. And it's a show that I really want to do. Like for me, the UK DFBA like finals or open international show, like that's like my Olympia. Like that's the way that I see it. And it is genuinely one of the best, if not the best, natural show in the world. Like one of them that happens every single year, because it's also open to international athletes. It's an incredible show. So I'm very excited to just simply be a part of that, really, see where I stand. And I can just enjoy like now bringing my best for it. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to a good few weeks without a show, because it is like tiring doing back-to-back peaks and scrubbing the time and just mentally preparing for it. I can just enjoy training all of it. So we've got legs today. Anyway, I've been rambling on. We've got legs today. I'm just doing my abs as usual to start. And then we'll crack on with the session. I'll talk you through what the session is going to look like today for you guys. So I haven't actually done this session for 17 days. Which is a pretty long time. And then before that, the time that I'd then done this session at Ultraflex as well was like another 20 days. Just with the leg sessions especially, obviously being manipulated the most around peak weeks. So as a result, when I come into these, I do just have to be a little bit smart. Body weight's also dropped a lot since those times. Like the last time I think I probably filmed this session with you guys, I honestly must have been maybe 8-9 pounds heavier. Which makes a lot of difference, especially on a small frame like mine. So the goal coming into these sessions, especially at the end of prep, is like, you're still here to train hard. You're still here to take your best possible work and train to failure. So when you're watching this video today, I'm still training hard, just as I would do at any other point. But the main thing comes down to like load selection and the way that I approach movements and warm-ups, just to make sure I'm safe. Because you still need to train hard, but the last thing that you want at the end of the prep is an injury. And that's where people sometimes go wrong when they're like, oh, it's the final few weeks, like, let's fucking go. Or they come into a session like this that they've not done in ages, and then they're not preparing themselves for it mentally or physically in the way that they need to, and then they end up hurting themselves, which is not smart. So we'll just be taking our time with like warm-ups and being smart with load and things like that today. But the effort level and quality still remains the same as always. Oh. Usual 2 sets in the adductor finish. So always start my load sessions with adductor 1, just for development. In terms of getting you safe for your movements, probably the best thing to do. Most injuries that a lot of people accrue are from usually their adductor, and it's often when they like sink down into like a deep stretch on, a squat, a hinge even, or a leg press, and their adductors are just not ready to take that, because that's basically when you sink really, really deep into any of those movements, that's like majority just adductor. So if you have like 1 week adductors, or you've just not warmed up your adductors enough, that's where like a lot of injuries happen, or also where you maybe limit yourself in terms of output as well. So a couple sets of adductor done, a couple sets of seated ham as usual, and then we will move on to the hip hinge, which I'm doing something a little bit different today. So I'll guide you through that when we get to it, but for now, 2 sets on here. Well, really loving your training. It's obviously such an important part, having your base for bodybuilding anyway, but it will especially really help you post-show or in between shows as well. Because like for me now, I feel way more like myself and way happier just like being in the gym compared to, show weekends and the stress of that. Like the idea now that I get a few weeks of just like normal training is lovely. Yes, it's challenging at points, but when you really love what you do in the gym, you'll always be excited to kind of get back to it, whether that be like in between shows or especially post show, like when you go into off season, because that's one of the main things that you get to look forward to after prep is like getting back in the gym, getting after it, getting strong again. Like I can't wait for that to come back when the time is right. So like having that set in stone will genuinely set you up to be able to psychologically, never mind physically, just psychologically handle those times in between shows or those times post show for you to still feel aligned and happy and like driven with your overall bodybuilding process when prep is no longer in the picture. This is the main change then that we're making to this session, which is that we've removed the barbell RDL and I'm going to do dumbbells. instead. Unsurprisingly, my barbells have started to get a little bit weaker as I've got loads of come down. I've come down with respect for being like the mid to high 60 kilo mark, now being mid to low 40 kilo mark. So feel that a little bit. And also it's just the fact that then when we're looking at a couple of things, physically keeping me doing something that is going to allow me to get the best quality work. So like setting up the barbell, doing that, battling the bar a lot, especially because how like thinking about how big the bar is and everything as well. It takes a lot out of me. So then what I'm able to actually get glute ham stimulus at this point. So that's one thing. And then also just psychologically, if I'm going into a movement like that, and I'm almost like a little bit nervous about, like honestly just feeling safe and feeling like I can kind of snap, like trying to battle around with that bar. And that's not to say that you should avoid hard work, because I've been doing that pretty much all my prep. I've got 3.5 weeks of prep left really at this point. So it's a case of me coming into something that I know psychologically, like I'm a bit more excited to do, and I just feel safer going into it. I feel better coming into the session. I look forward to it more, and it gives me a bit of a fresh perspective. I'm not worrying about numbers. I'm not pushing to do anything that I know is going to hurt me, because that's my worst problem. Is I'll be like, oh, I don't want to go below 100 kilos or whatever, and then I'll just hurt myself. Like, come on, it's silly. So we're going to do dumbbells today. Again, I'll be really taking my time to warm up on these. I was looking back at some old videos, and last time I did these, I was moving the 58s and the 60s. I won't be doing that today, unfortunately. But stay tuned, baby. 6 to 8 months down the line, we'll be back to doing some of that fun stuff. Promise, because that is really, really fun. I'm looking forward to documenting it. But today, we'll be doing something safe, so we're just going to take a time to warm up, see what feels good, and then take a good, productive, still strong, intense step.
Come on.
No.
Let's go.
No. Oh. Fucker. Oh. Super happy with that. I know it was a first set, but when I've been at my heaviest, I've done like for a back off on a pull day, like the 44s for 10 or something like that. So I was 42 for 10 at 48 kilos, 47 kilos, something like that at the moment. So I'll take it. Happy with that. I felt really locked in, felt really confident. I think the music being off helps, because I just felt present, felt ready to get after it. It's my most favourite feeling in the world. It just kind of reminded me, because I've not done these in so long, it's reminded me of like how I'd feel coming into these when I am heavy and I'm trying to get stronger, and I'm like, let's fucking go. Because you obviously just don't quite have that same mindset when you're in prep. It's still intense, but it's just different, isn't it? But it's nice to now actually be able to start to think about that a little bit, because I know that, you know, growing season is just around the corner again soon, which is exciting. But that was a good set today. Really happy with that. I'm going to be sore as fuck tomorrow. Fuck me. Oh, fucking hell. So that's just one set on their finish. They've actually been feeling a lot better because you'll see in my last video I did these at the end of the pull because we'd added those in, and as a result that kind of allowed me to again benefit a fresh perspective, going in without any numbers at the end of the session, just kind of actually feeling executing better. So I was able to transfer that into today. One set on here, and then we're going to go do a leg press. I'm going to see how the side bicep pivot is feeling. I did pull it out at the last time I did this session because it had been causing me some lower back issues. And then the session before that, I'd done it at Ultimate Fitness in Birmingham. So basically the last two sessions I've done the hammer strength 45 degree, just because it felt a little bit safer. So I'm going to just do a warm up on it and see how it's feeling. If it's not feeling too great, I'll probably go on hammer strength. Just because again, like, it feels a lot safer for me in terms of the position, because with especially how long my femurs are relative to my torso, I have a very, very, very short torso. Like literally me and AJ, same height up to here, but then he's got another 9 inches from here to here. So that's why, like, when I come down on a lot of leg presses, my knees finish so high relative to my torso, and that can cause my lower back, for my lumbar to round a lot, my lower back to lift off. That's what causes a lot of issues for me when I come down to really deep, like, knee flexion and hip flexion. A lot of like girls or anyone who's got really long femurs, you might feel that as well. So that's why finding movements that suit you is important, particularly on leg press. And especially now that I have less body fat around my lower back, my hips, I feel it even more so. So we'll see how it feels. But now that I've talked it through, I feel like I've got almost rationalised just doing the hammer strength instead. But we'll go and give it a go now and see what's going to give us the best outcomes for today. That's so fun. Right, there we go. It's definitely much better like this, because you'll have seen me set this up on the side bicep pivot, but obviously because it pivots, it basically goes like that because of how the pivot moves, whereas because this is a 45 degree, I just feel a lot more locked in. That honestly only feels good for me when I can top band it, because it pulls my hip position down. But at this body weight, and just honestly given what my body's got to give in terms of energy and power output, it's just not good for me to top band. So this is going to be much better. So we'll roll with this for today's sets. Right, last warm up here now. I've only just done a couple of feels here because I'm later in the session. I don't need to exhaust myself doing a million and one warm ups. It's not the goal. But I will film my last warm up, and you'll see I do this on a lot of movements. And it's just to basically double check I'm really happy with everything, make sure everything looks good, make sure I'm confident, and then I can just load whatever I need to load for the top set and just get after it, rather than kind of guessing your way through your warm ups, doing your work set, something doesn't feel right, and then you're kind of like frustrated because you feel like you've done something wrong, and then that's where a lot of people think, oh, I need to redo the set or do it again. It's like, just take your time with your warm-ups, make sure you're happy with everything first, and then you can just get after the set and you will actually take a good set ahead of you. So don't rush through your warm-ups or ignore the importance of them, because if you nail this, you'll nail a good set as well. Oh. Now, I'm also only taking a slight increase from that last warm up because it felt, relatively challenging, and I don't want to take a massive load jump and then significantly undershoot what is an appropriate rep range. I'd rather overshoot the rep range and do something that is safe and I get obviously more reps with, I can execute well, and then I can kind of rectify it in my second set, rather than, like I say, overshooting it, taking poor work, maybe hurting myself, and then basically fucked, and then that's when people just end up accumulating loads of volume or hurting themselves, which is not what you want. So if ever you're uncertain of a new movement or something different, or it's not feeling 100%, always kind of undershoot load, overshoot reps, and then you can always take a lower rep, heavier set second. It doesn't always have to be top set heavy set first, back of set light set second. You probably have 2 sets. One of them is going to be lower rep range, one of them is higher rep range. As long as you're working with different loads and a variety of rep ranges, it doesn't necessarily matter which order it's in, especially if you need to change the order in order to get more productive work overall. It's naturally like a little bit more hip dominant.
Ah, because
That's why no, I just didn't want you to think that my stance was too high.
I was safe. Easy what? Nice, strong. Stay on that tempo. Stay on that tempo. Yes. Come on. Grind through these. I'm here. Let's go. Yes, and again.
See, that was definitely a smart thing to do today, because I think it was like 9 reps, something like that. So if I'd have gone heavier, I'd probably got like 6 reps or something, and they would have all been reps that I didn't feel in control of. I think that's the problem, is like you look at a lot of people on some movements, especially if they're just simply loading it too heavy and the load is controlling them rather than them controlling the load. Like you can just see when you look at a set whether somebody is like really using like their muscles to like move that load, whether they're being powerful or whether they're just like literally giving whatever they can give to just like get the platform to move up and down or get the weight to move from A to B. And there's a huge difference between the two. And once you learn to actually control load and actually feel what it's like to be like, oh, okay, I'm actually using a muscle group that is intended to be used on this, your progress will absolutely transform, and you'll realise that it's not just about the plates on the machine or the number in your logbook. Yes, over time you want to progress that, but at a surface level, it's not just about that if you want to actually seriously put on muscle mass and make the most progress that you can make. Fucking hell, that's not looking so good, is it? Got literally like black feet from my tan. That's also why my socks are like yellow, is because I'm obviously sweating and the tan is just still coming off me. Obviously you guys saw in the last video, the tan for PCA was so dark and it's like come off like really weird. Whereas like the tan that I had at UK at FBA, like Nicola's tan at A1 Tanning, to be fair, she smashes it. Like from the tans that I've had, like she does the best tan hands down. But it's very even. It's a really nice like browny, like goldeny shade, like when it comes off. Whereas this is like it's like black and patchy. Like I literally look like I've been down the coal mines. Like it's like all like ashy on my back and everything. So I was thinking like, oh yeah, I'll have like a nice tan after the show, and it looks a mess. It looks an absolute mess. So I need to keep scrubbing and get this off, because it's not a great look. Oh, fuck me. I know it's hard and I know it fights against your natural instinct, but when you are on a movement, especially in isolation, and you're getting close to your failure point, try not to wriggle around. Yeah, like try not to suddenly shift yourself because it's getting uncomfortable, or let go with your hands or move around. You want to stay as locked in as possible so that you're like firstly just locked into the movement, but then you're driving all of your energy and focus towards actually performing the movement and taking that muscle group to failure. Like the difference between your ability to probably fully get that quad all the way short when you're like locked in like this versus if you're like, and you're like moving around, it's going to be drastic. So it is hard and it's a mental battle more than anything else, but do whatever you need to do to get you in that headspace where you just imagine that you are literally super glued into that machine or that setup or that movement or whatever it is, and just focus on giving all of your energy, all of your attention to just taking that set to failure. That's the bulk of the work done. Now I've got 2 sets of laterals and calves. And we're finished. So we'll go and crack on with those now. Probably one of the most important things to making sure that that time in between shows, if you have a gap, is manageable for you as an athlete, is actually just how you've planned out the season. Like being smart with the amount of shows that you actually choose to do, what is realistic, what's good for you to do physically, mentally. And then if that is the plan, hopefully you and your coach have figured out how you're going to manage that time frame so that you're not basically just spending, gaps of maybe like 4 or 5 weeks just in like limbo, maybe like trying to hold a look and then like physically starting to fade a little bit, or mentally just really struggling to kind of hang on. So like, for example, in this time for me, we have planned it out so that I do have that little bit of room to just push for more conditioning. And we've obviously got a layout with, days of pushing a baseline and then backing off over these next 4 weeks. I've got that planned out. So like physically, I know I've got something to work towards. And like mentally, I know that plan as well. So, if you're looking at this time in between shows and struggling with it maybe a little bit, maybe you just need to sit down with your coach. You need to go, right, what's the game plan here? What are we actually doing? Because you've been prepping for a long time and you think, 5 weeks ahead, like what am I doing? You feel like you're rolling along. That's where you get lost. So as long as you've got a game plan laid out, you know what you're doing, like physically and mentally, that time will be so much easier and hopefully so much more enjoyable for you to actually attack and enjoy those final stints of prep that you've got ahead. Okay, so we're just finishing up on calves then. If you've seen these sets, please do not try this at your own gym in sliders. I'm doing this today because I've left my Vigo barefoot at home. My clients are probably like kicking and screaming right now seeing me do this, because I'm always telling them off to do this in Crocs and sliders. but the adapters needed. My calves are absolutely smashed. Any girls who've done show days in heels, you know how much it absolutely batters your calves. But yeah, anyway, it's been a great session. We're finishing off here. Thank you so much, obviously, for watching along. I hope it's been insightful to just, I suppose, catch up with where I'm at in the process. And I hope you all look forward to following on this final stint prep, which I'm really excited for. It's crazy to think that I am like in the final stint now. I said to AJ at points, I was like, it almost feels not that it's been too easy, but I just expect to feel worse. I think that I've been through a lot of preps where I've felt, well, I've been through my last prep where I felt a lot worse at the end, and I was literally dragging myself, couldn't wait for it to be over. And it's like, obviously I'm excited for off season, I am, and I'm kind of looking forward to obviously doing what I can do in here, but also feeling more like human outside of the gym as well. A lot of athletes will get it, but females especially, like, you don't really feel like yourself at the end of prep. It's not normal for us to really spend time being this lean, so I'm looking forward to that. But I'm not, like I say, I'm not, you know, kicking to the end of prep. Like, it's been so enjoyable, but that's how it should be, I think. And I think you get that with more time, just being in the sport. And this is even with me not having the most optimal prep setup as well, which when we get to the end of the prep, I'll kind of I'll guide you guys through how the prep has looked from a timeline perspective. But even with that, like, it's been so much fun, and it continues to be. And I hope that that's what you're able to get from this. And that's actually been the best thing that I've had from all of these shows is, you know, the people that have come up to me or the people that have messaged me and just said that it's been so nice to follow along and so refreshing to see the way that I've approached the prep and shown how it should be enjoyable and it should be fun, and you can change your perspective on bodybuilding to be appreciative of it even through the challenges. And that's what I always want to continue to show. So I'll make sure to keep that up over the coming weeks. And yeah, thank you so much for following along the session today, guys. If anyone's got any questions with session layout, with anything regarding the rest of this prep that I've not quite covered, and if there's anything you obviously want to see now as we come into the end of this prep, shoot them in the comments below, because we're here to help. That's what we want to do. But yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and comment down below. Stay tuned for more to come, and I will see you in the next one.